All right, let's dive into something huge happening in the US right now. We're talking about a landmark bill that's basically going to write the new rulebook for digital money. For years, it's been, well, kind of messy. But now it looks like the United States is right on the verge of a massive shift in how it handles cryptocurrency. So what's actually going on in Washington? Let's break it down.
You know, it all really boils down to one simple yet incredibly confusing question. Who is actually in charge here? Who's the ref on the field for crypto? This has been the billion-dollar question looming over the whole industry, and it's created a ton of uncertainty for investors, for builders, pretty much for everyone.
And here's exactly where that confusion comes from. You've got two major agencies both thinking they're in charge. It's like having two referees on the same football field blowing their whistles at the same time. On one hand, you have the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. They look at a lot of crypto and say, hey, that's a security, like a stock. But then you've got the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and they see other cryptos as commodities, like gold or oil. This clash, it's been creating total regulatory chaos.
So, how in the world do you fix a problem like that? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. You write one single, clear rulebook that everyone can follow. And that is exactly what Congress is trying to do with this new piece of legislation. This is it, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. And honestly, the name says it all. This isn't just another small-time proposal. This is the first serious, comprehensive attempt to finally regulate the crypto market in the US and bring some much-needed order to the Wild West of digital finance.
At its heart, the bill has a surprisingly simple three-step mission. First, define. Let's finally figure out if a digital asset is a security or a commodity. Step 2, assign. Once we know what it is, let's give the job to the right agency, either the SEC or the CFTC. And finally, step 3, establish. Let's create some clear, easy-to-follow rules for the exchanges and platforms where we all trade these things. Simple, right? But if it's so simple, you're probably wondering, what's the holdup? Why isn't this law already?
Well, that's because behind the scenes, there's a massive, high-stakes tug-of-war going on, and it's slowing everything down.
And this really shows you the two sides pulling on the rope. On one end, you've got the traditional banks. They're lobbying like crazy for much stricter controls, especially when it comes to things like stablecoins. On the other end of the rope, you have the crypto companies. They're pushing hard for rules that are friendly to innovation, rules that will let the industry grow. It is the classic battle, old finance versus new finance.
So why does this backstage fight matter so much to you and me? Because the outcome is going to decide the future of an industry that has trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars on the line.
And that's no exaggeration. To put it in perspective, the entire global crypto market is already valued in the trillions.
And on top of that, clear rules could unlock billions more from institutional investors. We're talking about the big players, pension funds, university endowments, who are all just waiting on the sidelines for a green light from regulators before they jump into the market.
So you see, this is about so much more than just money. If this bill passes, it'll create this huge ripple effect. It could finally turn crypto into a fully recognized asset class, give the CFTC clear authority, create real investor protections, and, maybe most importantly, position the US as a global leader for blockchain innovation.
I mean, this legislation could genuinely define the next era of finance. So the big question is, where does it all stand right now? And what happens next?
Well, it's been a long journey. The House actually passed a version of this bill way back in July 2025 with a ton of support from both sides. Then, this past January, the Senate released updated drafts, which was a great sign of progress. And that brings us to today, where those intense behind-the-scenes negotiations are still happening.
But here's the thing. Despite all the delays and that tug-of-war we talked about, the feeling in DC is actually one of cautious optimism. A lot of people believe the bill is, and I'm quoting here, on the cusp of becoming law. That tells you the momentum to get this done is really, really strong.
And that leaves us with this one final, powerful thought. While all these debates are going on, one thing is absolutely certain. We are watching history being made. The decisions happening today are literally laying the groundwork for how we're all going to use digital money for decades. The question is no longer if crypto will be regulated, but how. And that foundation is being built right now.